So I've put quite a bit of time into Enshrouded, and I still absolutely love the game every single time I log in. Now, I've seen a lot of new players hopping in and enjoying the game, which is fantastic. However, I've gotten to the point where there are some things that I really think that I would do differently if I were to start Enshrouded again. If I were to start brand new on a brand new character in a brand new world, I think this is where I would go. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more Enshrouded content. So one of the things that I was so lackadaisical on during my first playthrough was unlocking all of the survivors. Now, you get quite a few of them as you just go through and play the main quest as you are following it. However, I didn't really put a precedent on it. I didn't really put any kind of major effort towards it. It was just kind of like, yeah, I'll get to them when I can, not realizing how exponentially faster it made my progress in the rest of the game once I actually had the appropriate survivors. Now, for example, like I drugged my feet to get the alchemist. Now, of course, you do need the alchemist and it's part of the main quest. However, I would just get distracted and go and find all these different areas that I was exploring. I didn't really hone down on what I should be doing first, which is getting the survivors, building your base up and having them be able to support you because you need them to progress the rest. I just found myself spending so much time where I wasn't emphasizing that and getting these guys sooner, and it really ended up biting me in the butt. Kind of piggybacking off of that, the biggest thing that I would do differently, I think, if I were to play Enshrouded again and start brand new as a new player, is not focusing so damn much on the building and just actually progress the game. Now, when you get into Enshrouded, it's very, very easy to get distracted. The whole game is based off of like ADHD. It's terrible. But one of the things that I ran into is that I would focus on trying to make crazy builds, cool towers, you know, making sure everything is where it should be and in its proper place. When in reality, I really should have just built a shack, cover the guys up, got some comfort level, and then moved on. Like, I've spent so much time on the game, really emphasizing, okay, where am I going to build? When in reality, I probably should have been leveling. I should have been grinding out materials. We should have been exploring the shroud. There's so many other things that would have been better well spent. My time would have been better well spent if I were focusing more on the progression of the game rather than the actual buildings. It's a tough one. Something that has greatly improved my time here in Enshrouded has absolutely been figuring out my build. Now, when I first started playing, I was all over the place. Now, granted, the game has been in early access and there hasn't really been a straightforward, this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do. It's kind of been changing almost every single major patch, which is a great thing. We love to see. However, I have definitely found that my build was an absolute travesty for like the longest time. Now, I will say that my build is pretty good. Right now, I'm playing more of a two-handed bruiser with the hammer, blunt damage, things like that. And it's been a lot of fun. And it has some noticeable weaknesses, let's be serious. It's not the ranger, the best in the game. But there are quite a few things that I really didn't understand, or I don't think I got to explore and play the game a lot sooner because my build was an absolute travesty. Now, of course, what I found out was that my build is greatly ruled, we'll say, around the idea of my endurance bar and how much my endurance bar is. I like melee builds. I'm a melee enjoyer. So once I figured out that my build, okay, I need more endurance and endurance regeneration, and I should probably boost up my blunt damage. You know, I'm using a hammer. Those types of things took me a lot longer than they probably should have to figure it out. But once I got my build done, it was game on. Something else that I really wish I would have done early in the Enshrouded time, because I didn't necessarily play at launch. I think I played about a couple months afterwards. It is something that has helped me out greatly as I have progressed into this game, and it's something I would have done 100% different, is use external sources that are available, specifically the Reddit and the wiki pages. The wiki pages for Enshrouded have everything that you would essentially need. The Reddit for Enshrouded is really, really good. They have people offering information to where to find specific veins, where to find specific mobs. I mean, it was just so beneficial as I was looking around, especially when you enter into a new biome and there is a whole bunch of different resources that you need to go and find. it makes it a lot easier to be able to just be, oh, okay, I need to go here, I need to go there. Thank you, that was wonderful. Now, granted, these are all liable to change, and I think they have changed a couple of times as I've played Enshrouded because of the updates that come out. However, they still remain pretty up to date and pretty good as far as information that I would need to be able to progress the game and to find things that would definitely speed up my time and my progression in Enshrouded. Now, another thing that I still even now struggle with to do appropriately, let me put it this way, and I've gotten better, is to make sure that my food buffs are maxed out. Food is so critically important in this game, and I really cannot stress at like how many times I've overlooked it in my time playing this game. It makes everything so much easier if you have a drink or something that improves your endurance regeneration, that you have some type of meat which increases your overall HP, a grain that typically increases your melee damage. These little things add up so much in my time playing, and it's something that I really didn't necessarily focus on during my playthrough, my initial playthrough. Yeah, I would get whatever I found and I cook up some wolf meat and think I was good, when really I could have had like an open sandwich or, you know, some chai tea or, you know, something that was a little bit better, saffron tea. These types of things that were very, very critical to my, we'll say, growth in this game. And I was neglecting them completely. If I were to start over as a new player, that is 100% something that I would focus on. Focus on maxing out that food a heck of a lot sooner, keeping it up at all times. The last thing that I probably would have done sooner, and I would have done differently, let me say, is my first experience with Hollow Halls. I actually didn't even do the Springlands Hollow Halls until I was way over leveled. I didn't really get to experience that, like, true dungeon experience, we'll say, when I initially was of level and it came out. Now, granted, I could always start a new character and go and do it again, of course, yeah. However, it was something that I was like kicking myself that I didn't get to go and do. And I didn't even get the Survivor down there up until recently. It wasn't a very quick experience for me, but the idea of going into like a 2-hour dungeon where you have to delve all the way down to the freaking bottom to get to, and there's like all sorts of skelly boys that are trying to kill you. I mean, that's a lot of fun. And I kind of regret, we'll say, and it's something I really wish I would have done sooner, is I really wish I would have done the Hollow Halls at the appropriate level and made it like actually the fun that it was supposed to be, that first experience of Hollow Halls. These are definitely some ideas with Enshrouded that I would have done better, we'll say, done differently if I were to start over as a new player. Now, it's not to say that I'm an absolute pro at the game. I hardly call myself that. However, in the time that you do play it, you of course learn more and more. And I've learned quite a few different things in my time here. And without a doubt, if I were a new player, that's where I would start. I would start out with getting the survivors, focusing more on my progression than actually building buildings. I love building buildings. I get what do you want from me? But then also figuring out my build a bit sooner, getting those food buffs, and then actually enjoying the Hollow Halls the way that they were intended. I don't know. Maybe in the future, Enshrouded will offer some kind of, we'll say, instance repeat where it's like you can go back in and it level locks you to whatever that is, and you keep all your gear, yeah, but it scales you down to whatever is current. That'd be cool. If you are new to Enshrouded and you are looking to get started, you can click this video here. Now, this guide is from last year. However, it's still relevant with a lot of the different information. It should help you out on your journey. As always, stay caffeinated, folks.